Beverly Hallberg is the president of District Media Group and a fellow at the Independent Women's Forum. She joins me now. Beverly, Mayor Bowser has not been kicked out of the Democrat Party for working with Trump to protect her citizens. Why don't other Democrat leaders follow suit?
Well, I think that's what we want them to do. The president is correct to try to encourage governors, mayors of these crime-ridden cities to work with him. She really serves as a model for what people need to be doing. My hope is that they will follow suit, because what we do have at hand is obviously horrific crime that the president is calling out. Instead of defunding the police, which we saw since 2020, wants to defund the police. He wants to defund communities, but he also has a jurisdictional issue here. Yes, he can do this in Washington, D.C., but if we care about federalism, separation of the federal government from state and local governments, we do want the mayors and governors to ask for that help. Hopefully they'll put politics aside and actually deal with this issue, but we're going to have to see how it unfolds.
Look, it would be nice if they asked for that help, but it certainly sounds like Chicago won't be asking for that help anytime soon. Here's the latest deflection from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Chicago will continue to have a violence problem as long as red states continue to have a gun problem. The Trump administration continues to try to use the real pain and loss of gun violence victims as a pretext for expanding his own power. Donald Trump is the last person in America who cares about families on the south and west side of Chicago.
He blames Trump, he blames Indiana, he blames everybody but himself. Obviously does not sound like someone who is ready to cooperate. So what do you expect to happen ultimately when Trump sends in the National Guard like he said he was going to do yesterday?
Well, they have been claiming, Democrats that is, have been claiming that President Trump is playing politics and this is all performative. What we're seeing from Democrats is what is plain politics and what is performative. I think that clip that you just played, it's so telling that instead of taking accountability from the crime that takes place in their own cities, their own state, they want to blame red state Americans. They want to blame anybody but themselves. It actually reminds me of Hillary Clinton's basket of deplorables, or Joe Biden's "we have a pandemic of the unvaccinated." It's not going to work. And by the way, when it comes to guns, when you're in these communities, if you're someone who's female, older, sometimes a gun is the only thing keeping you safe, preventing from somebody from really causing deep harm. So the fact that they're making this about guns, when guns is what actually can keep people safe, I think is just really not only poor messaging, but is doing nothing to help these communities.
The Second Amendment follower there in Texas is in no way responsible for gangs shooting each other up in Chicago. It makes no sense. Finally, House Republicans are going to huddle up with top Trump campaign officials to lay out their plan for the midterms. The invite to House members says, quote, the 2026 midterms will be defined by the performance of swing voters and Trump-only voters. This workshop will provide a clear and specific roadmap for making them yours. The invite also notes it will be taking attendance for the event, so truancy and tardiness will not be tolerated. Beverly, this is your bailiwick. This is your area. You give advice to campaigns. What would you tell the GOP to do as we look ahead to the midterms?
Yeah, we're already talking about campaign season, right? It's definitely heating up. Here's what Republicans need to keep in mind. Just like the border issue was a main issue for Americans in the 2024 election, for midterms, it's still going to be about safety. Now it's going to go to their backyard, crime and safety in their own areas. The border's been dealt with. Now we need to deal with bad actors that are here in this country. So the safety issue and, of course, affordability, whether that's affordability of a house. President Trump has talked about the issue of the struggle to buy a home. He's really taken it to Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve, not liking the interest rates right now. But of course, it's going to be costs of groceries. The cost to live life is always going to be a big issue. That's what we should focus on. And what Republicans hope Democrats focus on is still to continue to point fingers at other people instead of taking a hard look at themselves.
Some free advice from Beverly Hallberg here on a Wednesday. Beverly, thank you.
Thank you.